Elizabeth Castravet and Loren Brovarnik are two of several cast members featured on 90 Day Fiancé. Happily Ever After?
Season 9.
Both women have appeared on the spin-off with their respective husbands Andrei Castravet and Alexei Brovarnik several times before. In Season 9, however, the couple's storylines have been intertwined. Rather than filming individually, the couples have filmed several segments together, along with Jovi Dufresne and Yara Zaya. While Elizabeth and Loren have been friends for a long time, their relationship has been tested more than once this season. Recently, this culminated in a full-on feud between the two women. While both Elizabeth and Loren have made mistakes, one is ultimately more in the right than the other. Elizabeth Castravet and Loren Brovarnik's feud on 90 Day Fiancé, Happily Ever After? Began at Loren's housewarming. Things between Elizabeth and Loren started to go south during the Season 9 premiere. Loren hosted a housewarming party and invited several friends, including Elizabeth, Andre, Yara, and Jovi. In addition to the 90 Day Fiancé alums, Loren's close friend Noga was also at the party. It didn't take long for the guests to start butting heads. While eating, the conversation shifted to Elizabeth and Andrei's potential move to Moldova. Loren began verbally attacking Andre and tried to persuade Elizabeth against the move. This was hypocritical of Loren in particular, as she had previously considered moving her family to Israel. Andre was understandably annoyed as Loren was speaking negatively about Moldova without knowing anything about the country. Eventually, Andre began defending himself to Loren and told her she didn't know anything about Moldova. Noah then began to chime in and claimed that Andre was acting inappropriately, which he wasn't. He was simply defending himself at a table where several people were giving him a hard time over something that didn't involve them. The altercation ended in Noga leaving early and cursing Andre out. Elizabeth was annoyed with Loren, as she felt she should have helped to diffuse the argument rather than adding to it. Tension between Elizabeth and Loren continued at Yara Zaya's launch party. For her new Elizabeth and Loren's friendship continued to go downhill during Yara's launch party. After creating a new brand of dog accessories, Yara decided to get the Miami crew back together at her launch party. Of course, it didn't take long for the drama to start again. Elizabeth found out that while she had been away in Moldova, Loren and Alexei had met with Jovi and Yara. At the meeting, the other two couples had discussed Elizabeth and Andre. In particular, Alexei revealed that Andre had told him about losing $75,000 in a Moldovan investment property. As a result, Loren had some harsh words about him. She called him when Elizabeth found out about Loren's words. She decided to call out Alexei for body-shaming his wife. This caused a huge fight, which ended with Loren and Alexei leaving the party. While Yara's event wasn't the time nor place for the argument, Elizabeth wasn't wrong to call out Alexei. Loren and Alexei constantly talked badly about Andre, while many of their actions have been arguably worse. Ultimately, Elizabeth has more of a reason to be mad at Loren than vice versa, which Elizabeth wasn't happy to learn. While Elizabeth and Loren both made mistakes, Elizabeth was the right one in this feud. Elizabeth had a right to be annoyed with Loren after the housewarming party. Loren never really gave a sincere apology and continued to talk badly about Andre behind his back. Additionally, Loren continued to insert herself into conversations about the Moldova move, which didn't involve her at all. Loren got upset about Elizabeth talking about Alexei, but didn't want to take accountability for talking about Andre. Elizabeth explained that as friends, neither of them should talk badly about the other's husband. Furthermore, what Elizabeth said about Alexei was factual, whereas Loren calling Andre was her own opinion. Both women could have handled things better, but ultimately, Loren was in the wrong. Loren hosted a party and invited Elizabeth, with husband Andre, Yara and Jovi, and others including Loren's friend, Noga. Reality T+1. During dinner, the topic of Elizabeth and Andre possibly moving to Moldova comes up. Loren criticizes Andrei's plan and speaks negatively about Moldova, even though she had previously considered moving her family to Israel. Reality T. Andre defends himself. Loren is accused of speaking from ignorance about Moldova. The conversation gets heated. Elizabeth expected Loren to help de-escalate, but felt Loren added fuel. Reality T. 2. Yara's launch party. Later, at an event for Yara's brand launch, Loren and Alexei, Lauren's husband, had a meeting with Jovi and Yara in Elizabeth's absence, and Alexei relayed that Andrei had lost $75,000 in a property investment in Moldova. Loren used that in criticizing Andrei, calling him a reality T. Elizabeth found out and confronted Alexei about what she saw as body shaming and speaking poorly about Andrei behind his back. This leads other clash. Reality T.